the Cooper River, you know, a nice moment to remember for yourself.
Yeah, yeah. So coming up, and off to the start, rather, we have the men's freshman novice 4 with Coxon, the Lindy Cup. In lane 1, we have Bowdoin. In lane 2, Marietta. In lane 3, Western Ontario. In lane 4, Colgate. Lane 5, Lafayette, and in lane 6, Rollins. So we're off. It looks like we're off to a blazing start. It looks like lane 3, Western Ontario, is maybe starting to slide out a little bit, but these are early stages of the race. You know, they're still within, it looks like, that breakage zone. You can see that referee boat that's right there, sort of waiting to see what goes on. And so now, as these crews start to solidify into what I would call a formation for the race, let's see how things start to shake out.
Yeah, so one of the deeper races here at the Dad Vail Regatta is this men's freshman 4 event. We had 3 semifinals yesterday evening, and then some finals this morning in this event as well. Going back and looking at some of the times, you see that Western Ontario crew out to a really nice start. They finished 6:55. They won their semi. Rollins was at 7, 5 seconds behind them. In the second semifinal, you had Colgate right around the same time as Rollins put up, and Bowdoin really close to them. And then in the third semifinal, you had Marietta at 7:01 and Lafayette at 7:06. So Western Ontario with a clear best time in the time trials, and then again in the semis. But all the other crews really, really close together.
Yeah, and you know, it's showing here, Western Ontario sort of separating themselves, and I really like the job that the Rollins crew did to get out. When you're out there in lane 6, sometimes it's kind of hard to feel like you're part of the race, but they're definitely doing the work to stay in. You can see the stroke seat just took a peek over to his right there to see what was going on, and you know, they're right there in it with this Western Ontario crew.
Yeah, and it looks like definitely Rollins with a nice start. We'll see what's going on in lanes 1 and 2 when we can get a view of them. But at the moment, certainly appears like Rollins out of lane 6 is in second place and kind of hanging tough at the moment with Western Ontario. Again, they faced each other yesterday, and Rollins only finished 4.5 seconds behind Western Ontario in their semifinal. So another thing that we're seeing today is that some of these crews who may have finished second in their semi kind of know the race plan of the fastest boat and have been able to respond to that a little bit better.
Yeah, and there, Western Ontario really showing its mettle, saying, okay, guys, nice job, but now it's time for us to make a statement and really establish how this race is going to look.
Yeah, this is really impressive right now. You see open water for this Western Ontario crew. Rollins was the closest we saw. Now you see Bowdoin in lane 1, probably up there pretty close to where Rollins is at, but Western Ontario with just a really impressive row at the halfway point, 1,000 meters left to go for them. Again, we've seen, you know, a few finals so far today, and they've all been, you know, we've had a couple people run away with it, but you know, based on the semifinals, you would not have expected Western Ontario to dominate just so much in this event.
Yeah, what I really like about what the Western Ontario crew is doing is they had a nice solid start. You know, Rollins tried to get out fast and set the pace, but they stuck with their plan and they sort of just reeled them back in, and now they're just extending that lead, staying within themselves, rowing their race, and really showing that 5-second difference that they put up in their semifinal yesterday, that maybe they can do even a little bit more.
Yeah, so you see a starboard stroked 4 there for the Western Ontario crew, as does the Rollins crew. The rest of the boats in this event with a port stroked 4. It looks like the race for second is a tight one between pretty much all of the other boats in this event. Meanwhile, Western Ontario continues to walk away with this.
Yeah, and I think that this is going to be tough because Rollins, you know, went out pretty fast, and so did they go out a little bit too fast? And will these other crews be able to reel them back in as they come in on those final strokes of the race? Now they're setting themselves up right now, going through the 500, and so you know, this is going to be be, I think, where that race for second place really starts to shape up.
Yeah, so Rollins and that's Bowdoin in lane 1 are still really, really tight together at the moment. We spotted that at about the 1,000 meter mark that they were close, and it's remained that way here in this third 500. Looks like we've got Fordham. I'm sorry, no. So that's Colgate and Lafayette there, making a really strong push to try and make a play for the podium here. Looks like Bowdoin maybe just inching out further into second as Rollins went out really hot on that start, potentially slowing down as they reached this final 500. Did they use too much off that start to remain in podium position? Look at Colgate there.
Yeah. And now here's where the press starts. We're coming up on that last 250 meters. We have Western Ontario just looking out at the race, but then we have the rest of the crews really battling to see who's going to be on that podium. Can Bowdoin out in lane 1 get themselves there? Will Colgate's press be enough to put them on the podium? Can Rollins stay in it? Having had that quick start, maybe having emptied the tank a little bit too soon.
Yeah, so Western Ontario now entering into the final stretch of the race. They're going to win this one going away. A really impressive race in the men's freshman novice for the Lindy Cup. Western Ontario, a program who, let's keep our eye on them in this Cup standings throughout the day. We've seen a lot of Western Ontario crews make it to grand finals. So, a team to keep your eye on as the day goes on for these Cup events.
And yet, no question about who is going to win this race right now. The question is who will be second and who will be third.
Yeah, so here comes Western Ontario. Western Ontario wins the Lindy Cup at the 84th Jefferson Dad Vail Regatta. They'll take the gold, and the race for second is going to be a tight one. We'll stay right here, and it will be Rollins. Rollins pulled away, and third.
Oh, yeah.
To Bowdoin.
And
Colgate.
Fourth to Colgate.
Just finishes.
Yeah.
Oh, man, disappointing and really tight there
Marietta,
for 5 and 6.
Yeah, Marietta finishing up along with Lafayette. You could see the rower from Colgate just sort of collapsed there, and Lafayette.
No medal for them. It's got to be difficult as they finished, probably about 2 seconds behind that Bowdoin crew.
Yeah.
Western Ontario, though, with a really impressive time of 6 minutes and 50 seconds. We're going to take a quick break here before bringing to you the women's freshman novice.